What do we say when we're in West Virginia? Well, I was driving through West Virginia not too long ago. Everything is running fine, and suddenly I heard this clanking under the hood. I thought to myself, damn. Sure enough, all the lights come on, the car just stopped dead, so I pulled it onto the shoulder of the road, and I stood there scratching my head for a while. I looked at the map, see what mile marker I was at, and there wasn't nothing for miles around. I mean, nothing. But there was a little old farmhouse up ahead. So I went walking on up there, I looked at the mailbox, and it said, Old Lady Lovejoy on the mailbox. I rang the doorbell, this ugly, nasty old woman answered it. She said, yeah? I said, are you Old Lady Lovejoy? She said, I am. I said, you got a phone? She said, I do. I said, can I use that phone, please, ma'am? My car done broke down. I need to call a tow truck. She said, you can use it if you'll hobble me. I said, I beg your pardon, ma'am. She said, I make no bones about it, boy. I'm 87 years old. You want to use that phone? You got to give me some hobbles. It's the only way I ever get hobbled nowadays. I said, ma'am, I don't believe. She said, well, I don't believe I'm going to let you use the phone to get, boy. I said, but ma'am, I'm broke out here in the middle of nowhere, please. She said, for some hobble. I said, well, all right. She said, come on in. So she shut the door and took off her clothes and hit the Posturepedic. I tried not to look at that distended flesh. All them brown spots all over her skin. She said, let me take my teeth. I said, leave the teeth in, please. Leave them in. So I thought, come on, boy, you can do it. You can do it. I even managed to get myself a semblance of 10 Hut, but she said, not so fast, boy. I said, what do you mean, Old Lady Lovejoy? She said, I want you to do a little preliminary gobbling. I thought, She said, now go on, boy. Nosh the squat. I said, what could I do? I was stranded. She said, don't forget the Bombay. I said, God. After about 15 minutes went by, she said, okay, boy, now you can go for it. And I did, and Nelly, it was, talk about massive concentration needed, but finally I managed to achieve a barely sputtering Shangri-La. I said, all right. She said, use the phone, boy. And she cackled and looked at me as she sat there and lit up a L&M. Oh, man, I had to dial that phone. I called a tow truck driver. I ran to the sink. She had some, liquid Drano there. I grabbed it. I gargled. Anything to get that taste out. Oh, Nelly, I had about 14 paper towels wiping my face off. I saw the tow truck pull up next to my car. I said, oh, thank God. I went running down the stairs 2 steps at a time. That tow truck driver was just standing there with his thumbs hooked in his pockets. He said, hey, boy, I see you met Old Lady Lovejoy. I said, well, would you please just tow my car? He said, did you have to hobble her to use her phone? I said, well, no, of course not. He said, come on, boy. Ain't no sense lying to me. That's the only way she ever gets hobbles. When a stranger breaks down, she makes him hobble that old nasty body just to use the phone. Now, she made you do that, didn't you? Come on, boy. That's why you look a little green around the gills, ain't it? I said, all right, yes, sir. Yes, she humiliated me. She sodomized me. She forced me to commit all natural acts just so I could use her phone. Yes, if you must know. Now, please, would you hook up my car to your tow truck? Because I've had the worst possible day of my life. It's just the worst experience a man could ever have to endure. And that old boy said, well, I don't know about that. I said, what do you mean you don't know about it? He just smiled and said, now how bad you want that car towed, boy?
The word on the streets is Greaseman.
I mean,